Hi everybody, this is Ellie. Thanks so much for joining me today for a video on what I'm bringing with me on a beach vacation. Spoiler alert, I am a chronic overpacker in all areas, and it turns out that planning and journaling is no exception. So my boyfriend and I are going to Mexico for a week on an all-inclusive beach vacation, and I'm really excited about it. It's pretty gray and gloomy here, so it should be a lot of fun to soak up some sun. And one of the ways that I relax and really enjoy myself is through journaling. So I can pack lightly if I need to. And if I were to only bring one setup, it would be this one here, which is my bullet journal setup in a pocket size, because I know that everything could go in here, and when I got home, I could back plan in all of the other setups that I have if I wanted to. So this is my everyday carry, and this would be what I would bring if I could only bring one single setup. That being said, I had plenty of space. Well, I made enough space in our suitcases and carry-ons that I could bring, honestly, almost every setup, which is a little bit ridiculous, but I like having options and I want to bring it, and we have the space, so I'm going to do it. So this, like I said, is my bullet journal setup. It's in a pocket size, and in the month of November, I have it in a Chic Sparrow Earl Grey, and you can see it's getting a lot of wear and it scuffs and becomes darker, so I've been enjoying it. In December, I'll be moving into my Christmas leather from Sojourner, but this is what will be on the trip with me. I'm also bringing my self-care setup, which I have in a B6 Slim Maverick. If you watched my other videos where I kind of went through my notebook lineup, you'll know that I have a lot of rough things in here that I eventually transfer into this notebook here. So I've got tons of notes, and I figured it might be a really good way to spend time on the airplane by rereading them and writing them out more coherently and neatly. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got my sketchbook. I'm going to hopefully do some ballpoint sketches. I'm not bringing any watercolors with me, just because I haven't been using them very much at all lately. So just the sketchbook itself will be perfect. And this is a pocket size in a Dacasca cork cover. I'm bringing my weeks with me, which is my memory keeper, and I have it in its clear cover on cover, so it's a pretty slim profile. So the one I debated about the most was bringing my journal, which is in a Hobonichi A6, and it's gotten pretty thick. But ultimately, when I realized I did have the space for it, I am going to bring it, because while I don't mind kind of going back and journaling about things that happened in the past, I always prefer to do it in real time, the day of or the evening of, because it just feels more fresh and my emotions come across much clearer. So this big guy is coming with me, and I put it back in its Hobonichi cover, which doesn't close with the pen loop, so I just put one of these elastic bands around it, and I know I'll really enjoy sitting down with this every day, or as often as I want to. These aren't planner related exactly, but I have this little book of coloring for mindfulness, which has mandalas in it, and I find these so soothing. So I've done a bunch over the years. I usually date them, so this is from 2018 when I finish, but there's still plenty at the back here. I have some Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners, and I have the bigger box too, but this is a little bit more portable and secure, so this I plan to use likely on the plane while I'm listening to some podcasts or music. And last, but certainly not least, I have loaded up my Delphonics utility pouch in the medium size. So honestly, I just brought some of my favorite supplies here. I have this Love Thyself pin that's from Eureka Art Studio, which is beautiful. I have my Sarasa Vintage Colors, which are some of my favorite pens, especially to use when I'm journaling. I have here a bunch of the Pigma Microns. And I also have a Faber-Castell, which is my favorite for when I need really thin lines. What do I have in the back? I brought a little travel size whiteout. Permanent adhesive in case I get any sort of ephemera that I'm planning to stick in while I'm there, a couple of ollie clips, and a couple of mild liners in kind of the beachy colors. I was missing one. Oh, here it is. Just gonna throw that there. And again, load it up inside too. I have my sprocket, the charger, a couple of extra packs of the photo paper, and I'm also bringing a field note. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. I think I had the vague idea that if I feel like writing a lot and my journal pages don't suffice, just that one A6 per day in Mexico, then this could be like a really nice supplement. So I'm gonna bring it and see how that goes. I'm not a frequent traveler, so that's why I don't have like a nice streamlined system that I know works for me. This is kind of me throwing everything together, and I guess I'll know for next time. That's probably how this will work out. But in here, I have another ballpoint pen and an eraser for the sketching that I hope to do. Got a big clip here to hold open the sketchbooks, and I have these little, what are they? I have these little scissors here from Tokyo Pen Shop. I have my pen pouch from Sojourner. Sorry, I'm kind of... In here I have a bunch of just my favorite pens, these Signos. I have Sarasa Dry, this Bic multi-pen, which I use for sketching, and the Hobonichi pen. In here, I have some stencils, some washi stickers, some more washi stickers, Kiddo washi tape. I also have washi cards, a bunch of washi cards that I had made. Those are in one of my notebook setups. And then I just threw together a little photo album of stickers that I think I might use. So I've got these travel ones from the Coffee Monster Co. Sorry about the glare. Black Friday and Cyber Monday will be while we're away. Also my boyfriend's birthday. Got my nails done before we went, so I think I'll probably back plan that. This is for the planning or the journaling that I think I'll do while we're there. Some reading as well. I brought a few books with me and a loaded Kindle. Bathing suits. And oh, I also threw this vinyl sticker in here from Brie at Documented Journey, because if I do end up using that field notes notebook for a kind of little snapshot of this vacation, I do want to put that on the front, and I'm sure I'll find a space to use these palm trees, which were a sampler from sugarloop.com, I believe. So that's what I'm bringing. I know it's a lot, and to be honest, I'm not sure I'll use all of it, but I did want to have options, and I do know that one of the ways that I can really relax and enjoy myself is to journal and plan and play with all of these things. And I'll have a better sense for the next time that I travel how much or how little to bring, hopefully. Okay, so I'm back in this video and from my trip. I wasn't organized enough to film, edit, and upload the first part of this video before I left, and I thought maybe the internet in Mexico would be strong enough for me to do that, but it wasn't, so I figured I could hop on here and tell you what I used and what I didn't, and just kind of my thoughts on all of the things that I brought with me. So as expected, my bullet journal setup was my workhorse. I rapid logged every day. I just wrote down what we did, what the weather was like, what we ate, anything I wanted to remember. I also started my Create December challenges in here, and I did some hand lettering challenges. So this guy came to the beach with me. I used him on the terrace in the mornings, and it was great. So whatever my everyday carry is next time I go on vacation, I will definitely bring it. The coloring book and the fine liners were wonderful. I colored both on the way there and on the way home. I just put a movie that I'd seen before on my iPhone, kind of listened to that in the background, watched sporadically, and was able to color, which just kept my mind busy enough. So this was great for me. I only did this on the plane, but I would still 100% give up space in my backpack for this. So I did actually pull out my journal on the second or third day, but once I sat down to write, I realized that I wanted to include ephemera and all the little bits and pieces I'd been gathering, and I wanted to wait until I was at home and I could spread out and maybe add some watercolor and get that all organized. So I didn't touch this for the remainder of the vacation, and I wouldn't bring this next time because it is pretty bulky, and now that I know that I want to wait until I have all of my ephemera and receipts and all that stuff collected, it just doesn't make sense to bring this. I was really glad that I brought this empty field notes because I use this as my long form journal. And this way I was able to get all those fresh emotions and memories on the page, and I'm not quite done yet, and my boyfriend's going to add to it as well. But this is great because we'll have this, and I'll also be able to refer back to it when I want to do my kind of memory keeping / art journaling in my Hobonichi. The Hobonichi I wouldn't bring again. A field notes for journaling I would bring again. The Hobonichi weeks I did actually use one evening. I kind of actually did some back planning, just all trip related though. Like I did my countdown, I put in the departure and arrival stickers, all that fun stuff, but I don't think I'd bring this again next time. I didn't have any desire to go into it and do the memory keeping in here since I was primarily doing that in my bullet journal and in the field notes journal I had. So this was just kind of redundant at the time. That being said, I'm definitely looking forward to sitting down and spreading out at home and back planning for the trip, but I don't think it was necessary to have taken with me. As for the self-care setup, I did think that maybe I would take it out on the plane and start rewriting some of those rough notes into my journal at the back, but I didn't have a chance or the inclination to do any of that. That being said, even though this is a bulkier and heavier setup, I would still take it with me again because not only is this a journal, but it's also a really great reference book for me, and it has a lot of really positive things and things like affirmations and quotes and just things that are really grounding and centering if that's something that I feel like I need. So this is a source of comfort for me, and it's also always something that I can work in if I do want to. So I would definitely take this again, even though I didn't touch it this time. And as for the Delphonics case, it was incredibly useful, as I expected it to be. I think actually this wide pen pouch from Sojourner probably got the most use because when I was packing up to go to the beach or the pool, I would just put in whatever pens I thought I would use, and I'd take my bullet journal set up with the field notes journal tucked into it and this pen pouch. So this was great and really portable and super light. The pouch itself, like I put in the ephemera I was talking about. Binder clip was great. I got to hold my pages open when it was breezy. The sprocket, I don't think I needed to bring. I did print one thing with it, I think, one or two things, but I brought this because I thought I would be journaling. But next time, I don't think I would bring this. Everything else though, all the stencils, I used a bunch of stencils, used the highlighters, used my ollie clips, and used a good number of the pens that I brought. So no regrets about bringing any of these things. I don't have regrets about bringing anything, actually. I had the space for it, and I did want to see what I would use and how I would use it, and now I know. And in terms of having the space for it, my carry-on bag, so I bought the Cat and Key backpack off of Amazon, and I chose that because of Brie at Documented Journeys review. She showed how it opened at the top and how it had a pocket that lies right against your back, which I think is really great for travel. That's where I kept my phone and our travel wallet. I got the large size because I knew I was taking a good amount of stuff, but I had packed it so tight that when it went through the security conveyor belt, it got flagged and the woman had to stop and take everything out, and she was super nice about it, but she's just pulling out journal after journal after journal. And she's looking at me and she's like, the only reason we flagged it is because it was packed so tight. So next time, just take more items out of your bag. And so when we were coming back, that's what I did. I took like the Delphonics and a couple of notebooks outside of my backpack and put it in the bin, and there was no problems. And there was no problems even when they checked it. It was just funny to see her face as she was pulling out notebook after notebook. But anyways, they all made it through safely. We made it safely, and it's just a funny memory. I'm really glad to have taken everything that I wanted to have made that space, and to know now that I can definitely streamline for next time. It's always just fun for me to see how I'm using what I have and what's the most functional at kind of these different times and in these different places. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.